Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about how time is not always going to be on your side. Now, I've been thinking a lot about life lately, hence the motivation for this channel. I wanted to pass down some life lessons that I've picked up along the way. Hopefully it will help some of you guys out. And if it does, please like and subscribe. As some of you know, I had a surprising health scare in early 2021. I wound up in heart failure and I was in the ICU for over 4 weeks. I nearly died several times. Now, I had lived a healthy lifestyle. I went to the gym 5 or 6 days a week since I was probably 14 years old. But it turns out that I had a birth defect of my mitral valve. And finally, that caused it to fail. Everyone was shocked, myself included. How could Mr. Fitness and Mr. Health Nut be in heart failure? But at any rate, through so many miracles, which I'm probably going to be talking about in future videos, I'm still here. Now, not many of us are going to get this kind of a wake-up call, that slap back to reality, a second chance to figure things out and do better, to make the most of what I have left, not take life for granted. I, like so many people today, floated through my life as if it would never end. I wasted a lot of time over the years. I wasted time on things that really have nothing to do with me or my reality. How much time do we waste on stuff that has nothing to do with us? Issues that either don't have a solution or we're not in a position to do anything about it. We're not in a position to actually create a solution. So nothing ever gets resolved and nothing's going to change. For some people, it's just something to focus on so they don't have to look too deeply into themselves. For others, these issues are a means of getting attention and validation from their group. For some, it's just a mental exercise for their otherwise restless mind. But again, it doesn't help anyone or accomplish anything. It's kind of like sitting in a rocking chair. A lot of activity, you just don't go anywhere or get anything done. I've wasted a lot of time on people who I knew wouldn't be able to remain with me on my journey. I knew deep down inside that they weren't a good fit, but I was going to try to make it work for one reason or another. I kept these people around far longer than I should have. And actually far longer than what was actually fair to them. Sometimes we outgrow people or we go down different paths. Sometimes we find that people can't keep up. Sometimes it's easier and more comfortable for us to be with a bad fit than to be alone. Sometimes we feel sorry for people and we keep them around. Or we have a long history and we don't want to lose that nostalgia. This isn't fair to these people or yourself. So cut them loose and let them find people more at their level. People they would have more in common with. And they're going to be much happier, as will you. I look back and I think of the time at jobs or endeavors that at some point I could see had no future. I just didn't want to give it up because I had nothing else to move on to. I was already neck deep and I didn't want to admit the truth, which would have forced me to cut my losses. Because at least having a purpose, no matter how trivial, insignificant, or unfulfilling, is better than aimlessness. At some point, we need to shift our focus from the thing that isn't serving us to thinking about things that we could do with that time and energy that would bear more fruit, have a better return on investment. One day we're young and invincible, and the older we get, the more aware of our mortality we become. It might start out with a bad cholesterol report. Maybe the doctor finds a few things that are a bit off. You start out with 1 or 2 gray hairs, which you point out to anybody who will listen, in a vain and desperate attempt to elicit some sort of youth-affirming compliment like, hey, you don't look a day over 30. And then it seems like every month those gray hairs take additional ground and start to take over. These are the small but notable changes, signs that help us cope with getting older. These signs get us comfortable with the concept of our nearing mortality. At some point, we're going to reach that age where we realize that we probably have more road behind us than ahead of us. I got a gift that most people won't. I got a second chance. I faced my own mortality. I walked right up to the edge of the cliff, but I didn't fall off. I do see the world differently now. It's like coming out of a fog. And for the first time, I feel like I can see what is truly important, what actually matters. I can see how many distractions and traps are set up to rob us of our time and our purpose. All this eye-catching clickbait titles and thumbnails, the dramatization of the most trivial things. The internet has given a voice to everyone. It's becoming harder and harder to discern what's real and what should be attended to, and what's just hype, clickbait, made-up nonsense, just to attract attention and create controversy. It's like Las Vegas. Every sign in casino has to be bigger and more eye-catching than the last, or it's going to get lost in the sea of neon. I bet there's more neon and flashing lights in Las Vegas than anywhere on earth. The internet and the media is the same way. More and more content competing for the same daily hours of watch time. People only have so much time in the day to budget towards this activity, so the world is forced to put neon and flashing lights on every issue and every story, or else it won't be exciting enough to pull people's attention away. Honestly, the very perception of what is real and what should be attended to has become radically distorted with the internet. People acting like these issues affect them, when in reality, it has no direct or discernible effect on their life. It only affects them because they allow it to affect them. It only affects them because someone told them that it should. And we wonder why complaints of depression and anxiety are at historical levels. We're at a point where the mental health crisis is getting harder and harder to deny. And as tragic as that may be, what goes totally unreported or unrecognized, what's not acknowledged, is how much time people are wasting on nonsense. Literally wasting their life. They should be enjoying the world, enjoying their youth and vitality, not looking for a boogeyman around every corner or some excuse to act out their frustrations or let off some steam. Life's too short to waste it being unhappy. Life is full of challenges, adversity. Not every day is going to be filled with carnivals and ice cream. Life isn't fair. We all have advantages and disadvantages over others. This is nothing new. Complaining about that won't change the reality or give you a leg up. Life is hard enough. We don't need to conjure up, create, or manifest new and never-ending ways of feeling bad about ourselves, our life, other people, or the world. We don't need to invent dramas or seek them out. We have the freedom of choice. We have free will. The question is, how will we handle that responsibility? What will we do with our time and energy? Will we exercise some level of discernment as to what to attend to and what we should filter out? What we should choose to give meaning to and what's irrelevant? The media and the internet are designed to capture our attention, to get us to care about things that really don't affect our lives. Why? So we keep watching. And they keep bringing in the advertising dollars. As long as we're unhappy or discontented, we can be sold solutions to our unhappiness. Unhappiness that we might not have even been aware of until somebody told us that we should be unhappy about it. Defects and conditions we didn't even know existed until somebody invented them. Causes that we don't even know about unless somebody reported on it. I see so many people today, especially young people, getting wrapped up in these narratives, led around by their noses from one monumental crisis to the next. It's like a crisis or cause du jour, meaning of the day. Or people are so burned out on the constant stimulus that they become numb, just wandering through space and time like a zombie. Someday we're all going to look back and wish that we had some of that time back. We're going to wish that we had spent more time in the real world rather than online. We'll remember the people in our lives, not the text messages that we received. We're going to remember relationships rather than things. We're going to remember vacations, not the souvenirs that we collected. Part of the problem is that technology is changing so rapidly that we haven't had time to process anything anymore. We go from crisis to crisis to crisis, story from story to story. And in a globally connected world, there's always some crisis or something for the media to sell to us. And if they can't find one, they're going to make it up. They're going to tell us why we should care about something that has no material effect on our lives. Why we should stop living and give them our attention and take up their causes. When we're young, it seems like time moves very slowly because there's so much activity jammed into every day. We change classrooms every hour. We can even have a profound change in our appearance from year to year. I once grew 8 inches in a year. I looked like a completely different person. Then you hit middle age and you spend all day at a job or a task. You go to work, you come home, you watch the same TV shows. You do basically the same thing online, and it's a pattern. Not much new. It seems like time is standing still. The changes that we see in the mirror are so slight when we're older and so minor year to year. And the changes to our lives become less and less. We get comfortable, we get in a groove, we coast along, and we lose track of time. It's like the movie Groundhog Day. For some, life and health can be taken away in the blink of an eye. For others, they slowly fade away in time. In either case, at some point, most of us are going to have the realization and wonder, where did all the time go? It's been said many times. Time is the one commodity that you cannot save, buy, or get more of. So make the most of the time that you have. Value your time. Don't fritter it away like it's never ending. Don't waste it away like it's a never-ending renewable resource, because I assure you it isn't. And with that said, I thank you for joining me today. Please remember, new content every Wednesday at 3 p.m. And until next time, have a great night.